Hi guys, welcome to the Pet Quarter. In this video we are going to be reviewing the Purina Proplan sensitive skin medium adult dry dog food, the salmon variety. Now salmon is full of omega-3s, anti-inflammatories, and should in theory be one of the proteins you gravitate towards anytime your dog has a food sensitivity or any sort of skin allergy. Salmon is a phenomenal source of protein. Again, omega-3s, anti-inflammatories. But should you put your trust and should you buy this food? Before we start, I want to say that we do not get paid by anybody and we are able and free to say whatever we want, so we can actually give you an unbiased opinion, which is all it is, an unbiased opinion. Now we specialize in nutrition, so this one should be a good one. The first thing you need to do anytime somebody recommends, prescribes, or you go to the supermarket or to your local pet store to buy a bag of dog food or cat food is to actually read the ingredients and to overall assess the diet you give your dog. Because if your dog has skin sensitivities, if your dog has pruritus, which is dermatitis, there is something wrong with your dog's skin. And the first thing you should look at is what are you putting into your dog on a daily basis, aka the food, in order to you to determine whether that is helping or hindering your dog's condition. So without further ado, we are going to look at the ingredients in Purina Proplan and assess from a nutritional standpoint whether this is worth its salt. Now, the first ingredient is high quality salmon, including head, bone and meat, and that is 17% of the whole bag, which is not a high amount of protein. But again, salmon is a wonderful source of omega-3s, anti-inflammatories, and I am happy it is the first ingredient. Now the second ingredient in the food is rice, and rice comprises 14% of this bag of food. Now rice expands when you cook it. You can do it at home if you are making a curry or if you are making some sort of risotto. You will see that that rice soaks up water, so it is likely that it's more than 14% that's in the bag. Now we then have dried salmon protein, which is good, but then things start going downhill from there. We see corn protein meal, we see animal fats, we see soya meal, we see corn grits, and then we see corn starch. Now let me tell you two things about food sensitivities and skin sensitivities and skin allergies. Anytime your dog is allergic to something or reactive to something, we do something called the elimination diet in the pet food industry, or you can go to your vet and request a blood allergy sample. And whenever you get a blood allergy test, which is a blood allergy test, what I am speaking of, you will see precisely what your dog is allergic to. Now, the question and the problem becomes when, hey, this allergy test is going to cost me several £100s and I don't really have several £100. So what can I do in order to try to mitigate and address and tackle the problem? Well, we put dogs on something called the elimination diet, whereby we eliminate every single protein apart from one, and you can choose this. We normally choose chicken or salmon because they are high digestible, because they are full of omega-3s, and in the case of chicken, because it tends to be a leaner meat. But salmon is also a very good choice. That's why you see it in a lot of sensitive skin bags of food, because salmon is a great protein. Now, if your dog is allergic to one or more proteins, putting the dog on a single protein food does really help. The problem with Purina Proplan and many other prescription diets is that the ingredients are extremely vague. If you give your dog animal fat, will we know what fat that animal is coming from? We won't. They just say animal fat. Will they change with different batches? Yes, they will, because they will just eat whatever is available in that particular batch. So they will rotate and you will not really know what you are putting into your dog. That's why animal fats should never be in pet food, because we do not want to see anything unspecific. And then there is the argument of too many carbohydrates, too many high glycemic carbohydrates in Purina Proplan. Now, dogs have three energy systems: the ATP, the glycolytic system, and the fatty acid oxidation system. Anytime we feed our dogs too much rice, too much corn, too much soya meals, too much corn grits and cornstarch, all these ingredients are highly inflammatory and they are hard for your dog to digest. Now, can dogs digest some carbohydrates? Yes, they can. Should you be putting a lot of high glycemic carbohydrates into your dog? The answer is no. Why? If your dog already has a skin problem, a skin sensitivity, and we give the dog more animal fat and more cornstarch and rice and high glycemic carbohydrates, the dog's dermatitis, the dog's skin will keep inflaming. Now, what some vets tend to do is they tend to prescribe some sort of medicine or some sort of steroid and prescribe you or recommend a bag of Purina Proplan. So you do not know whether the dog is getting better because of the food or because of the steroids. What we see day in and day out in our branches, because we specialize in nutrition, is that anytime dogs are off the steroids, they go downhill again. So my advice for you, if you have a dog with an allergy, would be to put the dog on a single protein food. Stay away from prescription foods. Always read the ingredients for everything you give the dog. Read the ingredients for the treats you give the dog. Make sure your dog eats a biologically appropriate diet, a species appropriate diet. Dogs shouldn't be fed high amount of carbohydrates. Dogs should eat something a bit more appropriate. And this is not to say that you should switch to something else but kibble. You can find phenomenal kibbles that are very specific in what they put in the food, and your dog will very likely get better. Because at a minimum, you will be able to pinpoint what you are giving the dog. Now, Purina Proplan is one of those bags of food and one of those brands that we would never sell. We only sell a few phenomenal bags of food, and you can buy them here. There are single protein foods and there are foods that are of very high quality. You can feed any of those foods, trial them, and see how the dog does. I would recommend you watch our couple seminars on skin allergies and dog dermatitis, and aside from that, I recommend you look at everything your dog is getting. If you can manage this with just the power of food, the dog will be a lot better, because your dog's liver, your dog's pancreas, your dog's stomach, your dog's organs do not need recurring steroids. We see too many dogs on steroids for so long that dogs' guts, that dogs' stomachs tend to recede and tend not to be as good as other dogs that don't have steroids for months and years of their life. So I hope that helps. We would never sell this sort of thing. Let me know what you think in the comments, and I will see you in the next one.